Hi everyone, welcome to White Glove Trucking, my channel dedicated to helping you use trucking as a vehicle to live your best life. Um, my name is EJ Anderson, the Congressional Auditor turned long haul truck blogger, also known as the happiest, kindest trucker on the road. So today's video, I want to do a video on creativity because creativity is so important in so many ways. Ever since I started doing these videos and sort of like expressing creativity, it's been really beneficial. It's really helped me enjoy my whole trucking experience even more. I even watched a video recently that the girl was like, creativity is a form of self-care, like being creative. And I will admit, when I'm out here doing this kind of stuff, it feels really good. Like it feels like it helps me have a little more purpose. And especially when I'm trying to help people and just expressing that side of you, like it feels like it makes you a little more whole. Okay, so today's video is all about how you can let trucking supercharge your creativity. Okay, with all that said, I think I'll just jump right into it. So the first way that trucking can supercharge your creativity is, just like trucking can be a money-saving season, trucking can also be a creative season. Now, a lot of people get into trucking because they know that they can save a lot of money really fast. They pretty much already know that they don't want to be in it for the long haul. They just want to do it long enough to save the money they need for the next thing they want to do. Well, creatives can get into trucking for kind of the same reason. Now, in my case, I came into trucking and I discovered it was literally perfect for me. I feel like if there was a trucker in the dictionary, this picture, mine would be it for me. It was literally the best thing that's ever happened to me. But even if you're not obsessed with it like I am, you can still come into trucking and do that creative thing you've always wanted to do. Like for me, other than for work, I was never much of a writer. And other than like a few YouTube videos when I was bored during COVID, I was not even really that much into social media either. But once I got in that truck with these like beautiful landscapes going by every day and all that like quiet, uninterrupted time to think, like something literally just changed or shifted in me. I finally had time to just think without distractions. And so I feel like it just kind of opened up a creative side that I didn't even know I really had. All these ideas just kind of started flowing. And because I had done trucking and learned trucking, a lot of that stuff was centered around trucking. The first year I started blogging, I was able to write over 30 blog posts. And the first year I started doing YouTube, I was able to do over 50 videos. This is all while driving a truck full time, running a business. But when you're out there, trucking just sort of enhances that mental mind state for creativity to thrive. So I did all those blogs and all those YouTube videos, and I'm still doing it. And I'm getting better with every mile I drive. Like I can do it more like faster, and hopefully you guys can test that these videos are getting better. So yeah, if you want to write that book, draft those lyrics, build that content platform, launch that business idea, then all you got to do is hop in a slow lane in a semi truck and let those creative wheels start turning. Trucking pays the bills so you can create freely. One of my favorite things about being a creative while trucking is that there's absolutely no pressure. Once you've decided to use trucking as your creative muse, then one of the biggest obstacles to creativity is out of the way. And that's figuring out how to support yourself while you're making your art. Trucking gives you that steady income so you don't have to worry about how you're going to pay your bills. You don't need a pressure-filled grant, a deadline-driven advance, a side hustle. You don't need any of that stuff to figure out how you're going to stay afloat. Trucking does that. And that stability, it totally shifts your creative vibe. It makes it more fun, makes it more enjoyable. It feels like it makes the quality of your work better too. And science backs this up. You know, research has consistently shown that external financial pressure can really inhibit your creativity. When people are focused on external rewards and outcomes like money, it makes their creative output like more conventional. But when they are more intrinsically motivated, creatives are more likely to take risk and just kind of follow that inspiration like wherever it leads. And this is where trucking shines. With all the bills paid, you can afford to experiment, take creative risk, try out new ideas, ignore expectations. The art doesn't have to meet anybody's standard but your own when trucking gives you that financial stability. So let trucking be your creative safety net, and let the open road be your creative studio. Trucking doesn't tax you mentally, preserving your energy to create. One of the surprising gifts of trucking is that it doesn't really tax you mentally, especially when you're driving at the slow speeds like I do. The low cognitive load of delivering loads lets you focus a lot of your mental energy on your creative work. This is in stark contrast to my old office job, where there were just so many things to worry about, like office politics, performance reviews, social committee detail, all these things associated with working in a typical office. And all of them have been, this guy, he cleverly, there's someone who cleverly termed this stuff the overhead tax. And I thought it was genius. Basically, the overhead tax of a traditional office place is all the stuff you have to do that is not the actual work. But trucking doesn't have that. All the distractions are stripped away. And as you're cruising down the road in that meditative state, you have the ability to really focus on your creative, deep work. The cauldron and the cocoon, trucking's creative combination. One of the most powerful things about trucking and creating is that you're always moving through the world. I like to think of this moving through the world like being in a cauldron of creativity. I'm not sitting in a changeless cubicle or living out a repetitive routine. In trucking, you're always in motion, both literally and mentally, just seeing new environments and bumping up against new people, new places, new ideas, all of these sort of like unknowns. And that constant movement of sort of bumping into things out here in the world, it creates a constant flow of creative, like raw material. There's actually a theory that you can actively cultivate creativity through basically having these chance collisions, right? So Tony Hsieh, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He was like the founder of Zappos. He was kind of famous for this. He famously tracked his collisionable hours, right? Of where he could be in contact with new people. And his goal was to have 1,000 collisionable hours a year. And not only can you do this in trucking, but you can take it to this next level. In trucking, while you're bouncing around in this cauldron of collisionable chaos, right? The truck actually becomes something that you would never expect. You would never believe that a big semi truck could be this, but it becomes like this peaceful, personal cocoon of creativity. It's like a little sanctuary where all this stuff all this stimulus that you've sort of like absorbed can simmer down, settle, and then be made into something creative and spectacular. The world, the cauldron, and the truck, the cocoon. The cauldron and the cocoon. And I think this is pretty rare in the creative space, right? Like, a lot of times you either have all this stimulation with no time to process it, right? Or you have the peace and the time to reflect without the stimulation, without the material. So trucking has both of these. I mean, that's amazing and totally unexpected, right? Yeah, so the cauldron and the cocoon. The open road brings the chaos, and the truck, the calm. And creativity thrives between the two. Well, that's it for this video. I really think this creativity thing is so important. It's really changed my life, how I feel about trucking and everything. So hope you enjoyed it. Hope it inspired you to like start thinking about being creative out here on the road and taking advantage of that golden opportunity that trucking can give you. All right. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.